Nobody's gonna complain, right? Welcome back. Professional StarCraft 2 is on the agenda today. Specifically observing the mirror matchup that, well, probably the most, I don't know if controversial is the word, but the one that has the most mixed feelings and mixed meta. What I mean by that, Protoss versus Protoss can sometimes, to some players, feel like a coin flip. And then suddenly strategies emerge that begin to dominate, especially with certain players. And then suddenly people figure out, oh, we could just go back to what we were doing 3 months ago. Yeah, that'll beat it. Because things evolve so quickly between all the professional Protoss players. But this is from an online tournament. I don't know which one, but from Morty's Replay Pack. Subscribe on Twitch. Get the replays. I've been told it's, this game is definitely something. Whether that's negative or positive, I guess we have to judge at the end. But 2 European professional players are competing. As I look up slightly more information, I should have done this quicker. But the Ukrainian Protoss from Wolf's Lair Esports in the blue, Hellraiser. And in the bottom right, the French player from Team Cascade, DnS. DnS has actually won about $40,000 in StarCraft 2. Hellraiser, a more modest $3,500 about. But it doesn't really matter how much you've won, you still got a chance, especially in these online tournaments, depending on how the brackets work out. You can bring yourself a few hundred or sometimes a few thousand with a bit of luck. Nothing really. I felt like I could do a whole long introduction because this is the most standard PvP openers. A bit of a split. Now we're finally at the point, this is the 2-gate opener, which is, on most maps, the standard because simply Protoss units are so good. If you don't have 2 Protoss units, you get beat by someone who can build 2 Protoss units. So it's kind of stabilized as 2-gate being the strat. Now there's a divergence here. DnS is opting for the double adept, the potential to do damage and stack up, and they build a little quicker than Stalkers. On the other side, we have the more safe macro play. Hellraiser opting for 2, well, he got Stalker Sentry and then 2 Stalkers, so the intent of the Sentry early on. Force Field doesn't work against Adept Shade, but having the access potentially to Hallucination early to be able to get a Scout, because that's sometimes, if you don't open up Adept at all, it's going to be difficult to get any real scouting. So the Sentry, while also having utility against all-ins with Guardian Shield and Force Field, can also... And now you see back here, the reason he's putting his Sentry all the way back... Oh, that is a fancy Sentry. He's got the War Chest Sentry. Anyways, because Adepts can just dive on top of it and kill it. So he's put it behind the wall so it can't be taken out immediately. Of course, the probe at the front. The reason we have these setups is... Well, let's see if we'll get a showcase here from Hellraiser. The simple reason is 2 Adepts are ridiculously scary and can kill all your probes, and you pretty much lose the game. Now, this is a new flavor of Protoss versus Protoss that's been coming out over the last month or 2. 6 Adept opener, using all of that time producing up until Warp Gate finishes, and with a Stargate as well. A lot of the time we see Phoenixes added in. It's going to be an Oracle. Here's the hallucinated Phoenixes coming across at the perfect timing. DnS dodges. I don't know actually if Hellraiser saw that. We'll see. But DnS tries to dodge with the Oracle. He will scout the fact there is a Stargate. He knows that's a threat. Going to retreat behind his wall. He does have an expansion done significantly quicker because he didn't opt for his tech quite as early on, and he did go for the Robo, which is a little cheaper overall. Just doesn't have as much aggressive potential, especially against the Stargate. A few more probes, but one does get taken out. Now, does he try to get the wall? He does. Oh, is he just going to shade on top? The Oracle going to come in the back. There is no shield battery. A great 1-2, but Hellraiser already on point, warping in Stalkers. He will be losing a few probes. 5 probes so far, and you definitely need to do damage if you expanded later. But overall, and the thing about Stargate is it gives you a lot of map control. The threat of Stargate units anchor so many Protoss units back at home. He has to keep Stalkers at home, if he does, especially if he doesn't have shield batteries. And even if he did, with 2 Oracles, he can just one-shot probes before they can be re-shielded. More damage being done. Now, the downside of going Stargate is if you're not able to get enough pressure, you're not able to kill enough probes or tie enough units up at home, your standing army usually isn't as strong. Like, 2 Oracles in a straight-up fight are going to die to Stalkers. But if he's really desperate and it really goes poorly, he could make a Void Ray or something like that. But it's going to be a transition into Robo. He's going to go to the ground and just use the Oracles to tie Hellraiser up at home and try to get an economic advantage with map control. Another hallucinated Phoenix coming across, and now this is an important one. He's scouting to see if this exact transition is happening. Oh my god, he shades the Adepts in. He gets the Sentry. He's going to go for the probes. The Oracle's coming through. Immediate retarget from Hellraiser. There are more Stalkers in the main. He's trying to bait the Adepts in. The hallucinated Phoenix will get a scout. He'll see the Robo. He'll see he's transitioning into the ground army. Now that's very important to see that it's not going to be a continuation of Stargate. So he can focus more. Well, there is going to be Blink from Hellraiser. Blink is a bit of a weird, not a weird choice, but it leaves you in kind of a weird spot in PvP. Because Stalkers overall are not incredible units in later games. Like, they're good for defending against harass. They're good for being cost-effective early on, but in a straight-up fight, Charged Lot Immortal Archon can just crush it. So having too many Stalkers is expensive and doesn't help your overall army composition. So if he doesn't want to go... Now, the Blink is partially a reaction here to the Stargate. And, oh my... Why? Every time. Every time. They're so loud. Double hallucination coming out. But there's no real threat to either player at the moment. There's no addition of a big swell of gateways that indicates that wait a second. I'm a great caster. 4 more gateways on the way. And a Templar Archives. This means DNS, he's thinking about putting on some pressure. He's not necessarily committing to an all-in. But... Oh, we're going to see Disruptors versus Immortal Archon. We're going to have the split. It's not going to be just big balls of Charged Lot Immortal Archon just kind of mashing into one another. And I think that's the best way to describe it most of the time. But instead, he's going to get the power balls. That has to be Disruptors. You don't go Colossi, right? If he goes Colossi, I have no idea what to say. Immediately, DNS starting to make some Phoenixes, because the Phoenixes can interrupt the Purification Novas. Does he get an Oracle? The Oracle's badly bruised, but in the safe zone. There it is. The power ball. The Disruptor. On the way. Can one-shot most Protoss gateway units, 2-shot Immortals and Archons. Maybe 3 shots on Archons. A lot of damage, though. So DNS has bought himself a lot of space. It's hard to tell. It really is going to come down to the micro. Because a lot of the time, if it's a Mortal Archon Charge Lot versus a Mortal Archon Charge Lot, more upgrades, more Immortals, and more Archons, that's all that really matters. That's the simple part. Oh, does he get him? Does he blink? I don't think he would have got him anyway. But with Disruptors and Phoenixes to counter Disruptors, there's a whole wild card aspect. 6 more gates on the way, plus 2, a little bit quicker for DNS. Charge is halfway done. That is a key upgrade. Now, with Disruptors, you got to be very careful with your charge lots because they don't distinguish between friend and foe. The only units that are invulnerable to a Disruptor shot are friendly Disruptors, much like Widow Mines. Hallucinated Phoenix coming in. We'll see the army composition. I don't know if he's seen the Phoenixes yet. They're in position to potentially intercept a Warp Prism, but I don't believe there's been much vision of the fact he's building these up. He probably has his suspicions. Archon's coming up. You still want to have the base army composition. And the one thing... So, this is a very fragile army out of Hellraiser. It can cut deep. It can do a ton of damage very quickly. But if caught out of position, or countered well, it's going to look fragile. It's going to crumble. because no immortals. He has stalkers, which are both expensive, so you can't make as many as, like, charge slots, and are very vulnerable to things like immortals. Oh, the blink's coming in. The Phoenix is revealed, but he's going to get 2 solid picks. How many Disruptors now? He's going on 2. He actually hasn't really been pumping them out here. Has he lost it? No, he hasn't. A lot of action, but not that many units lost. I'm very active. This can happen a lot, especially in mirror matchups where you don't want to commit an army, but you want to get an edge wherever you can. Gets rid of the Stasis Horn. Technically, you can blink out of them if you're quick enough, but what's the point? +3 starting for both sides. Looks like the Chrono Boost has allowed Hellraiser to catch up. Still very passive, but they're both always on top of scouting. You see Hellraiser sending out hallucinated Phoenixes units, the Oracles up in the grill of Hellraiser. DNS always on top of that, throwing hallucinated Phoenixes and real Phoenixes as well. Oh, does he have the blink? No. Yeah, Stalker's still scouting for the army. A lot of tension. It looks now getting closer to a max out. That's when Hellraiser probably wants to start trying to take trades. He wants to get aggressive because if you allow DNS to be aggressive, you only get 1 or 2 sets of Disruptor cooldowns. DNS can rebuild, come across the map again. So Hellraiser, in an ideal scenario, is the aggressor. So that way, you can fight, take some pickoffs, retreat, more Disruptors, more blink cooldowns, another round, another round, another round. Oh god, that Stasis Ward catches half a dozen Stalkers. That's a pretty big one. But where are the Ruptors? The pickups could hold some of these Stalkers as well. The recall does get them out of Graviton Beam. Okay, will he be able to survive? Well, the Phoenix is... Oh, blinks to the side. That's a temporary respite.
What a save!
I'd say saving any was pretty nice. Not a huge deal, but... +3 is going to be done. 5 Disruptors on the deck, 7 Phoenixes to potentially counter them. Now, Phoenixes have a lot of use anyways. But if they are taken out or they aren't a factor in the fight, he's invested a lot of money in units that aren't paying off. Oracle coming in. Both players at 61 probes. It's very dangerous for your army to be too small. In mirror matchups, you usually see the lowest worker counts, but PvP is definitely, much like ZVZ, that is very true. Now, 3 Purification Novas. Gotta be careful. But he has several Disruptors. He has 5. The Archon's getting good hits off. This is just a clunky army. Getting it into position for all of it to attack is difficult. The standoff continues. Both sides, really. The more Archons mucking things up, the more potential for Disruptors to do damage to either side. Purification Novas pickups are canceling them. Nice snap pickups. He does lose a Phoenix, but he negates the damage from the Novas. DNS going to be looking for another warp, and he's actually getting a fleet beacon. Going for a Mothership. Could be an interesting... Oh my god! Incredible Stasis Ward, but only if he can capitalize on this position. That's going to keep Hellraiser from going any further forward. That's like 20 supply, 25 supply there. So the standoff continues. A warp in on the left side. There's a single cannon. That's not enough. The warp prism going into the main. Stasis about to run out on all these units. He's going to try to chase them down. It's not going to be enough. The army at the front. The warp prism could be taken out. The 4th base is exposed. Warp prism in the main. There's only a single cannon and a single battery. That's not going to hold up. Another Stasis Ward. He freezes him in place. These are so clutch. Looks like he sees that one. The Purification Nova going to disrupt it. The Zealots are desperately trying to get through. Finally, the battery is out of energy. Still a Warp Prism in the main. A Dark Templar coming through without detection. Oh no, the Disruptor's in front with the shotgun blast. They instantly connect. A lot of the units aren't even involved in this fight, but the Archons were able to get forward. It looks like the Purification Novas were able to do a lot of damage as well. He loses all the Disruptors, but the Archons, their power overwhelming, are going to win the fight. But at the same time, DNS is cutting through the main. There are Dark Templar in the mix. He's going to be able to slice through any reinforcements, deny upgrades. So Hellraiser wins the battle, but DNS has not yet lost the war. All the production is offline. There is no more power in the main. Is there any detection? Aren't there Dark Templar? No, he had an observer with the army. He recalled it. Phoenix is looking for more damage. Down to 47 probes and dropping. So, DNS lost significantly more units in the fight. He lost a lot of Immortals and Archons. But the stall of production here for Hellraiser, the Mothership's going to come out. That's going to require extra detection. He has time to reinforce. He's on more probes. So, maybe a little bit early on that, Chrono. Phoenix is coming out. The Phoenix is almost explicitly for dealing with the War Prism. Honestly, it was a little greedy not to have him in the first place, but more damage coming out. While Hellraiser has a much bigger army, he can't risk sending it across the map. Well, this War Prism is still a threat. It's like he's about to deal with that. There might be one more warp in. No, the Stalkers say no. But now the question, can DNS handle the counterattack? There are no more Disruptors. It's going to be 10 Archons. Wait. 14! He's going to 15! He has an Archon, essentially Archon-only army. Oh my god! There are 20 Archons on the map. Archons, pretty good units. Well, we'll see if his power is overwhelming. Does he have detection? He has observers. He has to try to get underneath the Mothership. And Archons... Oh, there are Phoenixes and observers. The cloak, he can't see. He can't see the Archons. And good luck getting anywhere close. The Mothership, the godlike call. It's keeping him alive. Trying to get underneath the Mothership is so difficult. If those Archons could just go on a diet, but they can't. They're energy-based, and I don't think they eat. He has to try to get that Mothership now. All the observers are being sniped by the Phoenix Observer combo. This is being used a lot like the Arbiter in Starcraft 1. Just smaller amounts of units being so much more cost-effective because you just can't get to it. He's really trying. Like an Oracle for Revelation would be huge. Just getting detection for a few moments. Still, the army is much bigger for Hellraiser, but the gap is closing. Another stasis... There it is! Big tag! But can he capitalize? Oh, he breaks it and triggers the stasis ward. Beautiful moves. And now, does he still has to go up that ramp. Everybody, coordinate. We're gonna try to slip through. Let me get to your side. There is a DT here. If he kills detection, the DTs can save the day. Not all the DTs are tagged. That one observer. Dangerous game. There it goes. The observer's gone. More warp-ins from Hellraiser. He now has a solid economy and 5 bases at the back. We're still battling. The shockwaves from the Archons lurching out. But they can only shoot like 3 or 4 range. I think it's 4? It might be 3. For some reason, they can only shoot about the length of their bodies in front of them, which... Highly advanced Protoss, everybody. 3 DTs with +3/+2. That cannon is not going to stand up to that. Oh my god. The classic question, which is better, the Scythe or the Dagger DTs? I'm partial to the Scythes, to be honest, but to each their own. Now, the War Prism, the War Chest, rather, has some different skins. I do like the double-bladed lightsaber DTs as well. The Psy-Blade DTs. Or Warp Blade, whatever they're called. 13 probes go down to the Deets. But does he need them? He's starting to dry up on 2 bases. The battle continues. Couple stasis wards. DNS, that Mothership, the real MVP of this game. Another DT. You don't want to drop under 50. I think 50 it would be when real long-term, you need to rebuild. A counter... Oh, he blocks the DT! With a force field. Another DT on the other side. Not enough. Hellraiser's starting to bank up money. He's getting his own mama ship. He likes... He saw how good it is. We see this a lot in Bronze League Heroes. Like, oh, you have scan? I have scan. I should try that. Except these are top grandmasters with tens of thousands of dollars in prize money. Oh, the Oracle gets the tag. Both Oracles will die, but they will... Wait, did he get a tag on this? There's no tag. No revelation. You won't be able to keep track very easily. The Zealots and DT's marauding around. Only a single cannon here. He jumped up from... Wait. Okay, wait. I might want to go back to that. I think he just charged the assimilator and then charged the cannon and, like, redirected it to get a longer range charge. It seemed like that might be what it was. I don't know 100%. Maybe I'm just making... Maybe my eyes are deceiving me. Plus... Oh, double Disruptors coming out. A little bit of role reversal here. DNS now going for the power balls. Neither, like... In some PvPs, if you're in a standoff situation, you'll see carriers as the ultimate Protoss unit. But when you're up against 12 Archons, carrier's not as good because all your interceptors will just implode on both sides. And still a scrappy game, still opportunities to do damage. We're not... It's not like they're impregnable here. There are definitely gaps in the defenses. Oh my god. Why did no one buy coaching from Hellraiser? Because he charges a lot. Anyways, the Archon's coming in, but another... Ooh, oh, we saw it. Now the army's... A lot of the army was committed over here. Charge lot's not a big part of... Honestly, the charge lot's just get in the way of the Archons. Does he have a time warp? Still charge lots on the other side. Archon v charge lot. I think the Archon's going to be happy about that one. It's still a counterattack. The Mothership trying to go by. This base is exposed. The charge lots... The Archons were pulled back. And now really just slicing through the probes. On both sides. The recall comes back. The Mothership with it. Immediately blowing up all those Zealots. The defenses coming through. 16 probes have gone down for DNS. Just a couple for Hellraiser, but he lost so many before. We're at 46 to 45. About an even amount of bases. About an even amount of mining. Though we did lose an assimilator here. And gas is precious. DNS with a smaller bank, but the gas banks are essentially non-existent. Oh my god. 15 Archons again, everybody. But the Disruptors, the bigger they are, the harder they fall to Purification Nova because of the size of their hitbox. That is a scary Protoss army from DNS. A beautiful tag. Is there detection? Now, the Phoenixes are still in the air. There was a tag as well. Both sides can see one another. How does this end? Purification Nova slamming into Archons. Still, they're weathering it. Can he get on top of this? Another shot. Double kill. Does he have any more Novas? Zealots from the side. More Disruptors in production. We're going back into it. They gotta find a way. Like, they're both trying to find ways to actually bite off chunks of this army. And it seems the Disruptors are the right choice. Both players agree. That's the only way. You can't get enough Archons. They have to come 5 at a time, Thermopylae style, up the ramp. So, maybe on the open field is the only chance. Purification Nova's at the back. He picks up one Disruptor. Still gets some hits off, but DNS holding on to his cooldowns. Curveball. Does he see? Well, the Disruptors don't need to see to shoot. Blasting through. Hellraiser just very boldly taking random gold bases on the map. Still a huge amount of charge slots on the field. Another counterattack on the side. Well, DNS like, maybe I should take a gold. Hellraiser beat him to the punch, but I don't know if he's going to hold on to it. Hellraiser really start like the Disruptor choice here because he already had the Phoenix superiority. Oh, here it comes. A flanking Ruptor gets some damage done. Suddenly, DNS finds himself somewhat cornered, but Disruptors work very well when cornered. I think I just saw a recall? No? I'm wrong about that. But the shots, Disruptors on the run, the fadeaway shots are super dangerous. Something weird, like, there's a lot of stuff going on underneath. It's very hard to tell exactly what spells are coming out, what damage. More Archons. This time, for maybe the first time, DNS going to have the Archon lead. He's going to be at 11 to 9. A DT coming up. Hellraiser going to mine a grand total of 7 minerals, because it's 7 per trip from this base. A pickup. Accidental. Charge lots on the left side. Hundreds of units lost in a PvP. What a ridiculous... What a game. What a game. Protoss versus Protoss. What a boring matchup, right? Mere matchup. Resident sleeper. Zealots coming through. The upgrades. 3-2 to 3-3. Hellraiser has a slight shield's edge. War Prison being taken out. DT's warped in, and the cannon should save the day. Shield upgrades also apply to buildings. There's the only upgrades that apply to buildings. Just FYI. Motherships on either side. Neither has gone down. I think when the first mothership falls, that's when the game tilts in a certain direction. He was unprepared for this. He can recall. He can recall. He gets one disruptor. He's gonna try. He's getting cornered. The fadeaway disruptor shots, and he recalls out. Okay, where does he go? To the far right side. He takes out a key base, a key mining base, and then gets out with minimal losses. Hellraiser now just he's starting to get whittled down. It feels like DNS since about 10 minutes ago has been making the better decisions with the mothership, with the switch into disruptors. And Hellraiser seems to be the one on the back foot, despite the fact he took some big wins in earlier engagements. But still very dangerous army supplies on the field. There are 7 disruptors against 11 disruptors for DNS. Archons, the OG energy balls being replaced by the disruptors. Big shots! Oh, he actually micros Archons. That happened. I was there. But DNS with the return volley. You gotta be careful. If either side loses that chunk of disruptors, exchanging fire. Another shot coming out. Hits the Raptors. Counters the Purification Nova. The shot at the back. If you can get charge lots on top of the army, he warps in a bunch. DNS getting the gold. And Hellraiser can't lose another base. This base has been shut down again, or it was never restarted. A single carrier for DNS. Why not? Going fishing. Oh no. Oh no, that one disruptor. Run! What a split. A single zealot. Hellraiser, like, if he loses this base, there's no more mining, essentially. This base is dry. He's gonna have 4 or 5 mineral patches. DNS has a gold. Hellraiser not only needs to hold on to this base, but he really needs to start putting pressure on that gold. Now, he's still near 200 army, he's still near 200 supply. Which means, if he wins a fight hard enough, there's no rebuilding. Just, whoop, double kill. The return fire is good. Once again, a counterattack. DNS now has, oh god! Beautiful! He was cloaked! He was cloaked! So that the Purification Nova went straight through and did max damage! Terrible, terrible damage! I don't even know where the disruptors are! They're cloaked from everyone! But DNS with the fadeaway shots! GG! Can we go over that last fight again? Oh my god. He drew the fire on... Well, it felt like DNS definitely had the edge. Alright, we're gonna slow it down. A double kill to start. It's 11 disruptors versus 4 right now. I don't know what happened here. It seems there's some sort of bug with the mothership cloak on the new disruptor skin. Oh, now that's a big one. Wait, does that actually connect? It might not have. The disruptor might have been. I want to see if that connected. But so here's how it works. Is it connects on the first unit it can see. But this one, the army is cloaked, so he doesn't have vision of it. Unfortunately, the disruptor dies before the shot goes off. But it would have connected in the middle of the army. In a weird exchange, being cloaked would have actually hurt Hellraiser. I mean, he killed the disruptor and he loses the fight anyway. But, like, it's these attacks, any split second of attention anywhere else on the map. That's the advantage of having the income. Is you keep drawing their eyes away. Yeah. Chasing with Disruptors is infinitely harder. DNS showing why he is the more accomplished player, at least as of now, and showing some control throughout the later game and decision-making that was just a little bit better, and that eventually gave him enough leverage to take it home. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure to check out Wardy as well. He casts a lot of these type of games live, and then you can sub and see the replay packs and all that. All right. Well, I learned that I never want to play PvP again.